faithfully delivering value and interpreting great books from around the world. Hello, this is Sally's Book Talk. Today, I'm going to interpret the book So Good They Can't Ignore You for you.
Are you satisfied with your job?
Do you often feel passionate at work? When you feel your job is boring or super stressful, have you ever thought about switching to a job you truly love deep down? And the idea that passion affects job satisfaction isn't new. Way back in the 1970s, in the US, folks were already pushing to find work you love, and lots of motivational books encourage following your inner passion. Under the influence of passion thinking, many people just jump ship when they're unhappy with their jobs. They believe that by constantly trying new things, they'll eventually land that ideal, satisfying job. But realistically, passion thinking hasn't actually boosted people's job satisfaction.
In some interviews, many Americans shared their job confusion. Some said they've switched gigs multiple times but still can't figure out what they're passionate about.
Others said they're in jobs they find interesting, but under pressure and challenges, they doubt themselves and feel unfulfilled. Why doesn't passion thinking, which sounds so great, actually help folks find satisfying work? What should we do to genuinely improve job satisfaction? That's exactly what this book dives into. The author, Cal Newport, is a computer science postdoc from MIT, now an associate professor at Georgetown University. He's also a super popular blogger and has written several bestsellers on boosting academic performance.
We at Sally's Book Talk have covered his hit book, How to Win at College.
Newport found that many who pick jobs based on passion thinking end up quitting. But those who are super satisfied with their jobs and achieve big things use a different mindset. They focus not on what I want to do, but on what value I can bring to others. Newport calls this the craftsman mindset. In this book, Newport breaks down the flaws of passion thinking and shows how the craftsman mindset boosts job satisfaction. After it came out, Inc. magazine named it one of 2012's best reads for entrepreneurs, and it made the Globe and Mail's top 10 annual business books. Heaven Kelly, author of the bestseller Out of Control, is the founding editor of Wired magazine. Kevin Kelly said, "This book flipped my thinking, from finding my passion to becoming a useful person, and thereby discovering my passion. It's a 180-degree turn, but the latter is more down to earth." But next, I'll walk you through the book's main content in 3 parts. First, what are the limitations of passion thinking in work? Second, why does the craftsman mindset better boost job satisfaction? Third, how to pursue a sense of mission in your career. Let's dive into part 1. What are passion thinking's limitations at work? The book outlines 3 key points. First point, most people's passions aren't job-related thinking. There's this assumption that folks are passionate about certain careers, so they'll find matching jobs. But that idea itself is pretty shaky. Back in 2002, Canadian psychologists surveyed 539 students to figure out what they're passionate about. And turns out, while a whopping 84% had passions, less than 4% were work-related. Most were hobbies or recreational interests.
Results showed, though it's 84%, it's under 4%.
If a student loves coding, sure, they can chase that passion to become a programmer. But if they're passionate about hockey, what kind of job should they pick? Well, theoretically, they could become a hockey player that fits the passion narrative. But here's the catch. Pro sports have super high barriers. Not every fan can go pro. If all hockey lovers followed passion thinking into athletics, most would crash and burn. So if someone lacks work-related passion, how can they follow passion to find a job? The second flaw in passion thinking is assuming work passion is innate, but actually, many folks cultivate it through their jobs. The book uses Apple co-founder Steve Jobs as an example. In 2005, Jobs told Stanford grads, "Follow your passion, find what you love. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking, don't settle." But while Jobs preached choosing work by passion, he didn't actually do that himself. When Jobs was in college, he wasn't interested in business or tech at all. He was super into studying Western history and Eastern mysticism and showed big enthusiasm for Buddhist meditation. He started eating vegetarian, practiced meditation at a Zen center, and even thought about becoming a monk under a Japanese Zen master. Back then, Jobs was selling computers with friends, but he didn't see it as a lifelong career or aim to change the world. He just figured it was a quick way to make cash. Luckily, Jobs caught the wave of the personal computer boom. Computers sold well, he saw it as profitable, and decided to start Apple. So Apple wasn't the result of Jobs chasing passion. It was just an accidental fruit from him and his buddies goofing around. If he'd followed his own advice, Jobs should have pursued his passion to teach at a Zen center or become a monk. But later in his career, Jobs showed intense passion, dedicating himself to delivering cutting-edge tech to make people's lives better.
This exactly proves that passion for work doesn't have to be innate. It can be built up on the job.
Yale professor Amy Wisniewski has spent years researching how people view work. She found that the happiest employees who love their jobs aren't those who turn passion into work, but those who stick with a job long enough to get good at it. Amy believes job satisfaction depends on many things, like whether you can achieve results, feel accomplished, or get along with colleagues, all needing time to settle. I want to. The more patiently you stick with a job, the more likely you'll develop top skills and good relationships, leading you to enjoy it and grow passion. The third flaw of passion thinking is it makes people doubt themselves, stopping them from acting and solving problems.
Passion thinking assumes job satisfaction comes from matching passion. If I'm doing what I love, I should be happy, but that's not how it really works.
For example, Xiaowang loves coding, so he became a programmer, but due to low skills, he might only get boring entry-level tasks or uninteresting projects with low pay. Since he just joined the company, Xiaowang hasn't built strong relationships with colleagues, all of which makes him unhappy. Oh, as mentioned before, whether it's a sense of achievement or good colleague relationships, they all take time to develop. It's normal for newcomers to face various issues, but if Xiaowang believes in passion thinking, he'll start doubting himself. Do I really love this job? Since I'm unhappy, maybe I should try switching jobs. If Xiaowang changes jobs, he might run into the same problems. Then he'll think about switching again, thus entering a vicious cycle. Any job comes with stress and troubles, and we can find ways to solve them. But passion thinking elevates these issues to choosing the wrong life path, making us think we're lost. Then we get stuck in self-doubt, constantly switching paths instead of solving problems, losing the chance to grow passion. All right, to sum up part 1, passion thinking has 3 limitations at work. First, most people's passions aren't about work, but hobbies. Second, many people's passion for work isn't innate. It's cultivated through actual work. Third, passion thinking makes people doubt themselves, losing the chance to grow at work. That covers the limitations of passion thinking. Now, for part 2, let's discuss why the craftsman mindset better boosts job satisfaction. The author notes that satisfying jobs share traits. Beyond achievement, he mentions autonomy, meaning I decide my work content and methods. If I work from home daily, set my own hours, and skip the morning subway rush, of course I'd be satisfied. A sense of mission is another key trait. If I believe what I'm doing matters and impacts many lives, I'll feel more satisfied with the job. The more a job fulfills these traits, the more satisfying it becomes. Take Jobs as work. As CEO, he could autonomously set product development directions. His products impacted many industries and changed consumer habits. That's a highly satisfying job. In the workplace, traits like achievement, autonomy, and mission are scarce. A newbie at the company often gets stuck with trivial tasks, can't decide their work content, let alone feel any sense of mission. How can we gain these rare traits? The author believes workplaces run on economic supply and demand. We trade work results for pay and trade rare career traits for equally rare high-level workplace skills. He calls this scarce high-level skill career capital. Take autonomy. Jobs had huge control over product development because of his unique vision and foresight. From the first Apple computers to later iPods and iPhones, his products featured era-leading designs that won consumers' hearts. These successes earned him real clout. So Jobs didn't find an inherently autonomous job. He used career capital to gain work autonomy. Had his products flopped, he wouldn't have lasted. This is super common. Higher-ups often have flexible hours because they've got more career capital and create more value than regular staff. That's why companies grant them more autonomy. Same goes for achievement. How can someone feel accomplished if their skills are low and they can't deliver quality work? So, the author argues that boosting job satisfaction starts with building enough career capital, and the craftsman mindset helps us get it. As said earlier, craftsman mindset focuses on creating value for others and whether your output is excellent. Like, singers care if their music moves people. Carpenters care if their tools last. Chefs care if their dishes delight. To get better results, craftsman-minded folks actively hone skills to improve. This builds career value, letting them trade for scarce traits and land satisfying work. From this angle, passion thinking not only fails to boost satisfaction, it backfires by potentially costing career capital. The book gives examples of two people, Sally and Duffy. As a contrast, Sally has been working in advertising and marketing for years, but he's frustrated by all the company constraints and feels he has too little freedom. Sally signed up for a yoga instructor training course, got certified, and opened a yoga studio. He believes yoga is his passion and should be bravely pursued, but from a career capital perspective, this is really unwise. After switching jobs, Sally basically threw away his previous skill buildup and only had 1 month of yoga instructor training. He's at the bottom in this industry, can't trade career capital for autonomy or a sense of achievement, and will face even more problems than before. Not long after switching jobs, he hit the financial crisis. Many people cut back on private coaching expenses, and with his lack of experience, almost no one came to his classes, leaving him totally unemployed.
He lost his source of income.
In sharp contrast to Sally is Duffy. Duffy also works in advertising. He also feels the company has too many constraints and lacks freedom, but Duffy didn't choose to switch jobs. Instead, he kept building career capital. Duffy mainly handles international trademarks and brand logos. As his skills grew, big international brands like Coca-Cola and Sony sought him out to design logos. Eventually, Duffy left the company and opened his own design studio, where he can freely choose what to work on. In the author's view, Duffy is a classic example of the craftsman mindset. He didn't worry about whether the job matched his passion. Instead, he focused his energy on becoming better. And by using career capital to gain job autonomy, this is the right way to boost job satisfaction. The author further studied how people with a craftsman mindset enhance their career capital. He found that these people all adopted deliberate practice. Deliberate practice means continuously practicing and correcting based on external feedback, targeting weaknesses to ultimately boost overall skill level. Deliberate practice leads to huge differences in skill level. Even with around 10,000 hours of chess practice, some stay at an intermediate level, while others become world champion masters. The difference lies in deliberate practice. A study found that chess masters spend lots of time identifying and correcting weaknesses with a teacher's help. In 10,000 hours of practice, masters average 5,000 hours of deliberate practice, while intermediate players average only 1,000 hours. Deliberate practice boosts skills for two reasons. First, it targets skill weaknesses. Like a basketball player who gets stripped easily, they need to work on dribbling. And those who don't practice deliberately ignore weaknesses, so naturally can't improve overall skill. Second, deliberate practice requires external feedback. This usually comes from pros who pinpoint flaws and guide how to fix them to meet standards. This helps us improve skills more effectively and become better. For better deliberate practice, the author offers 3 key suggestions. First, before practicing, understand your career capital market type. Career capital market split into 2 types, winner takes all. In these markets, excelling requires mastering one specific skill. Nothing else works. Many technical jobs are winner takes all. Take screenwriting. Calling someone good means their writing skills shine, not other talents. The only way up is honing writing skills. The other type is auction style. Here, excelling and gaining recognition can involve multiple skills in different directions. Like in ad agencies, some excel at coordination, others at creative concepts. Streaming is auction style too. If I break world records in games, even streaming silently would draw crowds. Alternatively, I could win with charisma. Though mediocre at games, I could entertain with jokes, energy, and viewer interaction to gain fans. Second, after identifying market type, choose skills to practice. Winner takes all is simplest. Focus on the one key skill.
But auction-style markets offer many choices.
Here, the author advises choosing existing skills over starting from scratch. For example, I'm not great at expressing myself, but I'm pretty good at gaming, so I'll just focus on leveling up my gaming skills. Aiming to become a tech-focused streamer.
Third, skill building takes patience. Many people need 2 to 3 years of deliberate practice to get good enough to stand out.
So when practicing skills, stay patient and laser-focused on your current goal.
If you're inconsistent, working hard one day, slacking off the next, you'll never improve your skills.
All right, to wrap up part 2, satisfying job traits are scarce resources that require trading high-level professional skills. Craftsman-minded folks gain satisfying work by leveling up skills through deliberate practice.
Before deliberate practice, analyze your career capital market type and identify skills to develop.
Finally, in part 3, let's explore pursuing mission at work. As mentioned, mission is crucial for job satisfaction. Believing your work changes lives helps endure pressure. The author suggests, first, don't seek mission early on. Master a field first, then define mission after achievements. To the author, true career mission is innovative, doing something new to improve the world, which is really tough. Finding career mission resembles scientific research. It doesn't appear magically. Only through deep exploration can you innovate. For instance, late 18th century scientists discovered air was a mixture and created high-precision measuring tools. Building on this, separating air components to discover oxygen became natural. Mission finding works similarly. First, continuously upgrade professional skills to reach your field's cutting edge. Identify the latest breakthroughs and what innovations you can build atop them. When Pardis Sabeti was in college, she didn't ponder career mission much. Her initial path was clinical medicine, but in graduate school, she stumbled into computational genetics, using computers to analyze DNA for disease-resistant genes.
As his research deepened, he started making major discoveries, identifying a gene for a deadly disease and publishing a paper in Nature.
The paper gained recognition from many professionals, with several universities sending him job offers. At that point, Sabeti realized the value of this work. He abandoned his medical career goal, accepted Harvard's offer, and defined his mission as using computer tech to combat ancient diseases. The second tip for pursuing mission: after defining it, use small probes to identify specific projects. Sometimes even with a clear mission, we can't pinpoint exactly what to do.
In such cases, avoid rushing into grand plans. Instead, explore different directions through probes.
These probes needn't be large-scale. They should be completable within months. Then use feedback from them to identify suitable work content. The book shares Kirk French's story. During grad school, he studied Mayan water management and appeared in documentaries about the Maya. This inspired him to define his mission as popularizing modern archaeology for broad audiences. But unsure how to execute it, French avoided massive long-term projects like self-producing a documentary. Too risky if it failed. Instead, he chose small projects offering quick feedback to test directions. He found a film version of an old documentary, converting it to DVD for wider distribution. He also tentatively fundraised to explore remaking it. While making the DVD, French worked at Penn State's archaeology department. One day at the office, a voicemail claimed, "I have precious antiques. Need an archaeologist to authenticate them." So, though knowing such antiques were usually fake, he met the person to share archaeology knowledge, filming the encounter as a short. Oh. Discovery Channel saw the short, found it fascinating, and funded French for a reality show appraising antiques across America while teaching archaeology. So French fulfilled his mission through TV, way more efficient than spending years on a documentary no one might see. Because French didn't lock into one direction initially but flexibly explored multiple paths, he ultimately reaped this surprise. The third tip for pursuing mission: make your projects stand out. Mission's core is impacting others. Even great wine needs visibility. If work results can't reach more people, they lose meaning. So while pursuing mission, we must boost our influence, let more people know what we're doing, and share our achievements. Simultaneously, influence brings more resources to better fulfill the mission. To boost influence, make projects eye-catching.
For example, make it super innovative, something that makes people go, wow.
The author also suggests launching projects in public spaces to spark discussion, raise awareness, and attract attention. Giles Bobart is a programmer and music lover. His mission is merging art with programming. In 2008, he created an AI music composer. Input simple commands and it generates original music in different styles. This was groundbreaking since no one had made such a program, instantly making Bobart a coding star. But after finishing it, Bobart didn't sell it. He released it free on open source platforms. Being both novel and free, tons of people downloaded and used it. Word spread like wildfire, naturally boosting Bobart's influence. French's archaeology show followed the same principle.
Discovery Channel is a top U.S. network. Shows there reach huge audiences and built French's reputation.
French also actively attended industry conferences to share his archaeology outreach experiences. This drew professional attention and amplified his influence. All right, let's summarize part 3. When pursuing mission at work, first deeply explore a cutting-edge field to discover your mission. Then identify specific projects through small probes. At the same time, make your work projects stand out to boost influence. With that, we've pretty much covered the book So Good They Can't Ignore You. Let's recap the book's main ideas. Passion thinking advocates following your inner passion to choose work, believing that doing what you love leads to satisfaction. But for most people, passions are hobbies, not career paths. Many work passions aren't innate. They're cultivated passion. Thinking also makes people doubt themselves, unable to focus on the job at hand. The author argues that the key to satisfying work is adopting the craftsman mindset. It pushes us to deliberately improve skills and focus on creating value for others. Along the way, you might just discover your passion. All right, so good they can't ignore you. That wraps up our interpretation of this book. Find the reading notes below the audio. See you next time.